Hey guys, Alex here, and we're going to look at this really old vintage Radioshack Audi Quattro RC car. And I believe this was made in 1985 or 1986. Pretty old, as I said, vintage. They call these Quattros because these were actually a four-wheel drive, which was kind of unique for a car of this size. So it made them pretty robust on the road. Anyway, this is considered a 1/10 scale back then, but they had different standards for their scales back then, especially Radioshack. They called a lot of their RC cars 1/10, you know, like their Impala series, but they end up being like more like today's 1/12 scale. Let's look at the measurements really fast. And by the way, at the end of this video, I'm gonna drive this RC car, but right now I just want to spend time talking about it, because you can find plenty of videos where people are just driving this, so I thought I would just talk about it a little bit. But I've had this car for about a year. I never drove it, and I'll tell you why in a bit. Anyways, it's a pretty small car. As I said, it's considered a 1/10 scale by Radioshack standards at the time. But looking at the measurements here, the wheelbase is roughly 8.5 inches, roughly. The length of the car, if you don't count the bumpers, let's see. If you don't count the bumpers, the length of the car is roughly 15 inches. Roughly 15 inches. And the width of the car, let's go see the width of this car. Let's just measure from the bottom here. I find this to be a little bit easier. We're gonna measure from the flares. If you can call it a flare. It's about, it's roughly 6.5 inches. That was a very rough measurement though, because I didn't really take the time to really measure it. But those are the measurements of this RC car. In the future, I would love to hobby grade this. I heard people putting this on a Traxxas and it looking pretty decent. This is what the remote looks like. See this? It's got the old school antenna. See that? You can actually poke people with it if you want to. There's some trim levels on this. This remote's actually pretty sturdy. Look at that, digital proportional. So back then that was a pretty big deal. 27 megahertz frequency. The batteries for the remote are 6 AA batteries. Jeez. Now let me tell you why I never drove this. I've had this for like a year, but the reason why I never drove this, let me show you why. It's because of the batteries. See this? Let's open this door up. This is ridiculous. Look at this. Not only does it require, 4 AA batteries in this section where my thumb is right here, but in the main section, it requires 6 C batteries. This is a C battery, guys. These are huge, they're expensive, and it requires 6 of these. And I used to drive RC cars back in the day, like back in the 80s, and these cars did not last too long. You know, their battery span, so can you imagine how much money it is to drive this thing? It's ridiculous. This is about around $10, I think, for 6 of these. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but it's just ridiculous. And now this is cool. The back opens up like this, and that's where the antenna goes. See that? Actually, I don't understand this antenna. Why does it go from the trunk to the roof here? Is it recycling stuff? I don't know. Pretty cool. Alright, so that is this. Now we're going to show you some driving footage now. It's time to fire up the Quattro. Alright guys. Come on. I'm going to need all 6 of these C batteries here. And plus 4 AA batteries. And for the remote itself, I'm going to need 6 more AA batteries. All of this, guys. Yay! Let's fire up the Quattro. Let's turn it on. I hope it works. This is my first time actually attempting to drive this. We'll turn the remote on too. Uh-oh. Doesn't seem to be working. It's not moving. Why not? Hey, look at it. Now it's moving. Okay, that was weird. Okay. It's still moving for some reason. Alright, let's try it now. It does donuts. So, it's not very fast. Look how slow the wheels turn. Here, let me move it up a little bit. I don't think you can see that. Oh my gosh. This definitely needs it. This definitely needs a Traxxas chassis. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's cool. Watch this. Ooh, it almost had a burnout there. He called it a burnout. There you go. Look at that spin. Watch this, guys. See that? Oh man. I'm surprised it still runs after this long period of time. But I don't want to waste my batteries anymore on this thing. Yeah, this definitely needs a modification. I don't like this body. It's cool for the nostalgia, the homage to old 80s RC cars. But it's freaking slow. And these are relatively new batteries. Like the C batteries are all new. It's not reacting anymore. I wonder if it has anything to do with this antenna. I don't think the antenna is supposed to look like this. I don't know. I'm not sure why it's like that. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this look at this RC car from the 80s.